Hi there, folks. Today I'm going to talk about this Benchmade 551 Griptilian. Now this is the full-size Griptilian. I also have the 556 Griptilian, and probably in a separate video I will compare the two. But in this video I just want to talk about the attributes of the 551 Griptilian by Benchmade. Now, as I've talked about in my review of the 556, I was initially a little lukewarm on the knife, due primarily to the glass-filled nylon / Zytel handles here, and the plastic feel here. The handles, really, the knife itself, the 551, really is just anything that's true of the 556 is generally true of this 551. This is just a larger version of the 556 Mini Griptilian, which I've reviewed both on throughmylens.org and here on the YouTube Watch Talk Forums channel. And again, you know, I was initially kind of lukewarm on those handles just because they feel plasticky and cheap, as many other people have commented on. Since then, I've really come to appreciate their utility and their robustness, and the fact that they'll just take a beating and still look like they're fresh out of the box. And that's a valuable attribute. So I wanted to explore getting something a little larger than the 556. That was one of the things that led me to pick up this limited edition Benchmade 805 T-Sec, and it's probably a little bit too big for me. I like the thinness, I love the blade steel, but again, I've got a video of this, and you'll talk about what I like. I do talk about what I like and what I don't like, but I'm going to use it as a basis of comparison for size. This one, the size is much better for what I was looking for, both in terms of overall length and blade length. I'll go ahead and put that there with the T-Sec here, and you can see that both the handle and the blade are just quite a bit longer. This really extends beyond something that is practical for my usage for EDC. So the Benchmade 551 Griptilian, I think, is something that is more practical for EDC, and I like carrying this. I carried this yesterday, and it's super light. It's a little thick, you know, the handle thickness, it's a little thick, and again, handle thickness is just about trade-offs. There are knives that have thinner handles here, but they don't. When you make them thinner, sometimes the purchase suffers in that process. And I think one of the great things about the 551 is just the handle thickness. I think it strikes a nice balance between being thin enough that it doesn't bulge in your pocket, but being thick enough that you get just such a wonderful purchase here. There is some jimping. There's some legitimate jimping here on the blade, and some kind of faux jimping or wannabe jimping here on the top of the handle. Again, on the underside. Much like on the 556, this stuff that's in here on the handles doesn't do a whole lot for you. You've got kind of a finger choil here, that here where my index finger is, that does help with the purchase too. But the jimping on the blade is actually pretty functional and useful, and really helps in a way that it doesn't on the 556. And in my opinion, it's just because you've got a bigger blade. The jimping is spaced apart further than the grooves are spaced further apart on the 551 than on the 556, making it functional, where on the Mini Griptilian it's much less functional. So I really like this. Really an outstanding blade. I would even consider this a light, what I'll call a light tactical or light self-defense. If you pulled this out on somebody, this would give someone pause. It's got enough size to that, you know, it doesn't look like a Mickey Mouse knife, and you've got a little bit of reach there with the blade size. Man, I like carrying this. I really do, because it's both a utility and has some tactical value to it. Whereas the 556 really, realistically, only has utility value to it. If you had to use it to defend yourself, you could. It's better than nothing. But this one is a little bit more imposing and would give someone pause. So, and again, it's got the wonderful Benchmade axis lock here that makes it just makes an automatic knife superfluous, in my opinion. I can just open this so fast. Now there is some blade play on this. I don't know if you can see that. There's just a little hint of back and forth wiggle there. If I tried adjusting the pivot screw, and if you tighten it much more than it is now, then it really detracts from the blade travel when you open it. So I really wasn't able to eliminate that blade play. Do I think that's a big negative? No. I don't think that's going to detract in the performance of this knife and using it for cutting tasks, and I used it for some yesterday with cardboard boxes. And it just performs wonderfully. Sharpened it up too. That 154 cm blade steel sharpens up very, very well, and it's now razor sharp. You know, you could shave with this. Can cut paper real easy. Shaves hairs right off your arms. Really like the 154 cm blade steel. Very nice. Again, with using it on my Spyderco Sharp Maker, out of the box the sharpness was not impressive. So, but just one pass on the Sharp Maker really brought it up to the level of being razor sharp. So it's again, the blade steel is just fine. Let me go ahead and zoom in for some close-up footage. Okay, here is some close-up footage of this 551 Griptilian. Here the blade. Here you can see the jimping that's both on the handle, which is not very effective. Again, as I've said in other videos, in my opinion, jimping effectiveness is all about the depth and the distance apart of the grooves. The grooves here on this jimping are pretty shallow, and they're close together compared to the jimping grooves here on the blade, which are deeper and further apart, which is why you're actually going to get some grip up here and not so much down here. Here's this side of the blade here. You can see the 154 cm blade markings. Mil Pardue design here. Love the blade shape, this modified drop point. Really like that. Real pretty blade. Kind of helps make up for the cheaper look and feel of the handles. Here's the axis lock point. Here's some footage of the handles. And again, I'm coming around. I mean, these handles can take such a beating. I don't have to worry about this when it's in my pocket. If I want to throw my keys or my loose change, I don't have to worry about it. You're not going to hurt these handles. There's the pocket clip. And you know, clearly that black coating on the pocket clip is going to fade over time. Benchmade will actually send you free of charge additional pocket clips, which I think is really nice. All you have to do is call their customer service. So there you go. There's some close-up footage. Okay, well here this is going to be a short video, just my some thoughts on this 551 full-size Griptilian. Got this very inexpensively online. I tracked one down for about $60 delivered, and I wanted to try to get it pretty inexpensively because I bought this as a project knife, and hopefully in about a week, maybe less than that, you're going to see what kind of modifications I'm going to do to this knife to kind of make it a little bit more interesting and exciting, I hope. So this was purchased as kind of a project knife, kind of an experiment. So we'll hope that that project comes out, and I will be sure to share the video when it's completed. Until then, take care, God bless, and we'll see you in the next video.